Looks like we're almost getting ready to go into the game, but Bruno, the guys over there fancy a bit of LGD International.
They fancy.
If you
They
can say
fancy
it
their
that way.
pie cut.
It's more of an
What are
English
your predictions?
terms. Yeah.
Give us your input.
Where are we going with this, Bruno?
As much as I want Rattlesnake to win, because I like the teams with the unpredictable picks to win, I'm going to say 2-1 LGD International. But very quick 2-1s, like 15-minute games.
But
I mean, I can definitely see what you mean there. Versus Zenith, it was just 15-20 minute GGs, just absolute destruction.
That's
one way
more
or
of
another.
Zenith kind of just killing them hard, though, not because of anything else.
I mean, these games should be pretty close, or pretty fast rather.
Yep.
I go with 2-1 LGD.
Same thing here. Same thing.
okay,
Here.
so
We're all going safe. 2-0.
Balls on your side.
Screw Rattlesnake. 2-0.
Bam.
I'm gonna go different.
Rattlesnake are going to win this. They just got the better name, and
Rising Snake.
huh?
Rising Snake.
The real question is, who has the better poses in the player cards?
Yeah.
The better hairdos and the poses?
The LGDint boy looks pretty. I don't know. That look uncomfortable. Have you seen their player card during like G-Land?
That was amazing.
That was amazingly bad.
No, no.
They're
No.
pretty
It was so
was
valuable
amazing.
skills.
It was
No.
amazing.
It broke the scale, went from the other side, became like super good.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm still going with Rattlesnake to win this one. And it's a really important game, of course, and we're going to get into it in just a moment because to lose this, you will be going home.
Well, they're home.
Yes, but no, they will actually kick. The LGD International will be kicked out of China if they lose this game, right? Just
Wow.
extra hype. But if you lose this, unfortunately, you're out of the tournament, and then you'll be going to the pub. Maybe
Drink yourself.
if you're LGD International at least.
Are they over
so
the age of drinking?
the
Can
best of 3 is to stay into the tournament. I'm going for Rattlesnake. Everyone else is going for LGD International. We'll find out who's going to win as we send it over to the commentators as we're going into the game. It's Lumi and Merlini. Take it away.
Hey guys, Merlini. I am Luminous, and we see some very, very interesting draft.
Yeah,
But
let's hop right in.
yeah, it's gonna be a Wisp and Nature's Prophet opening here from LGD International, and I think MUFC yesterday picked something very, very similar, right? They went opening with full global heroes, and when you're drafting against something like this, are you particularly scared because of the mid game is so damn hard to play against, or do you say, hey guys, these are some weak ass lanes?
They are weak lanes, but I don't know if Rattlesnake has the aggression to kind of contend them in the lanes and win the early game and just snowball their way to victory. But we will see. These are relatively passive farming hero, typical Eastern strategy that we see from Rattlesnake gaming. Gyrocopter, Dragon Knight, first picks.
Yeah, I don't think Gyrocopter is necessarily passive. Once he gets level 6, you get a TP in, he gets a kill. Same thing with Dragon Knight. So perhaps they're not going to be coming out of the gates and get those first bloods quite easily, but if you give them that first 5-8 minute of passive farm, they will shut you down a lot more sooner than your Wisp turn 6, your Nature's Prophet picking up the mech or Midas, whatever that he's going for. I feel like Rattlesnake has a
This
fairly
is
big
so
opening.
greedy.
And now Alchemist being picked up here, so this should be a solo mid Alchemist, although we've been seeing a flurry of support Alchemists and the...
Yeah, I think they have to do support Alchemist in this, just because Dragon Knight, Gyrocopter, Alchemist are all pretty far in advance. I mean, they could run support Gyrocopter too, but I don't know. We'll see. Again, this is a very, very greedy draft from Rattlesnake. You talked about this rather greedy draft from LGD with their somewhat global level and farm dependent Nature's Prophet, level dependent EO, but again, they don't really have the lineup to punish it.
Is it E or IO?
I don't know. I'll just call him Wisp.
Okay, good.
Beep beep boop boop. You just call him that too.
Wait till Rattlesnake picks up a Magnus or something else, and then we'll be going crazy. But for now, going back to the bans a little bit, it's gonna be Juggernaut, Slark, Lifeslur, and Batrider for Rattlesnake.
Wow.
Vengeful Spirit coming out from LGA International. Maybe calling it a little bit too early, but are we gonna see some sort of aura push? Because LGD International love their Lycanthrope, love their Luna.
It might be split push. I don't think it would just be straight up 5-man Chen, Syllabear push, but that aura strat.
There's going to be some sort of push coming on because Prophet is a decent pusher early on. That's one of his few ways.
It might just be super early aggression though. They might just want early levels, go maybe a triple stun lane, with Venge, EO kind of stun.
But if you want to in-lane support, there's just simply better options, right? Visage is definitely a heavier nuker. If you want long-range stun, you know, Jakiro or Earthshaker's always an option. But they go with Vengeful Spirit, which give you a sort of okay range stun.
We saw this Wisp Venge strat that they did earlier, though. I think all they did was just roam around with EO and the Vengeful, and the thing about Vengeful Spirit is she's much better of a roamer than
Visage.
Visage.
Yeah.
Visage is more of a passive hero. You wait for the damage to come, you try and just counter, you just trade kills, right? But if you actually want to go to a lane and kill somebody, the 3-second slow, the range is very low on Grave Chill, and there's not too much damage coming out in a 2-on-1 situation. I think that they're really aiming for mobility around the map, putting out a lot of pressure on Rattlesnake Gaming early game, not letting them farm up their core items, their BKBs, whatever it may be, in the first 15 minutes, trying to delay that as long as possible and just snowball their way to victory after getting a lot of early kills.
Yeah, it might not seem like it because we've been focusing on a lot of the offensive capability of Vengeful Spirit and the rest of the team. And even though Wisp and Nature's Prophet and Vengeful Spirit look pretty squishy, they have a lot of kind of team synergy to rescue each other. We've seen Wisp, you know, relocating carry out. Swab is definitely a very much so a forgotten factor in these pro games. And of course, Nature's Prophet teleporting in with the mech usage. I feel like LG Gaming could definitely help each other out. And of course, this is a very signature pickup for LGD.int. G's Queen of Pain mid. They need him to have a really, really good start. Generally, when LGD.int wins their game, it's because G is having at least moderately a good time. Like, he has to at least come evenly on the mid lane. If he loses mid, I don't see LG Gaming winning the game.
Right, and I definitely think this is full-out aggressive early to mid-game strat from LGD.int. They banned the Naga Siren, they banned the Shadow Demon. Both of these are relatively defensive heroes, being able to interrupt a lot of aggression with defensive disrupts and defensive Song of the Sirens. And again, Queen of Pain did pretty much lose a lane versus a Naga Siren early.
Right.
So again, they need to kind of secure G's early game, whether that means roaming with a Wisp, roaming with a Vengeful Spirit, and just try and take the early game. Meanwhile, Rattlesnake has a lot of stuns. They have Dragon Knight with Dragon Tail, Unstable Concoction, AoE Split Earth, and they have the massive damage potential from Gyrocopter. And so I think this is going to be, as Bruno predicted, a very action-packed early game.
Yeah, they also have fairly decent spells against pushes, which I still think that LGN is trying to build towards to. Acid Spray, Flame Breath, Call Down, Flat Cannon, Lightning if Shrek wants to go for it, Split Earth. So they have a ton against pushing power, and Clockwork being banned out for LGN, another hero that's really good against, or at least slowing down those pushes. So I think Rattlesnake definitely very smart up in terms of what LG Gaming might be looking to do, and so far they're drafting accordingly. They are looking for what I believe for another support hero, although Alchemist could definitely take up that role as well.
They definitely need like a Rubik or a THD. I think something like that would work best in their lineup. Maybe a Keeper to Light. Again, that's maybe a little bit too passive for them, but they definitely need a support at this point. Looking at their...
I mean, Alchemist could run that support. So far, they don't really have a stable off lane. It seems like they're forcing themselves into an offensive trialing situation, which might not be too bad because, you know, well, Crystal Maiden. So this is definitely an offensive trialing because we've seen DK run this particular trialing all the time, involving Alchemist and Crystal Maiden. They throw out things like Undying into that mix, sometimes Leshrac, sometimes Rubik. Any type of kind of long-range support hero will do, and, well, offensive trialing coming out for Rattlesnake.
So for LGDN, I think the last pick, they really wanted a Gyrocopter. I think Gyrocopter would work like almost perfectly into their lineup. It's a safe lane farmer, a lot of early aggression, and pairs decently with Wisp, but they're going to have to either pick just a safe lane solo farmer, just because I expect EO and Vengeful to either pull a lot or roam a lot early, or a combo with EO. But a lot of them are banned out already.
Yeah.
Juggernaut banned out, Chaos Knight banned out, Slark I haven't seen, but it is banned out. There's Tiny, there's Sven. What else is there?
I think they wanted to go to Lycan, they wanted to go to Luna. I still think that's really the case, but you actually can't pick those heroes against this offensive tri-lane because Wisp doesn't do anything. Vengeful Spirit is a fairly weak defensive hero on the tri-lane. Nature's Prophet doesn't really help. So whatever LG Gaming's plan was, I think gets really thrown out the window, and I think they're getting somewhat outdrafted. Phantom Assassin. So this is something we've seen from Alliance all the time. And I think what we could expect here is Pycat to stay relatively far back, and then just Stifling Dagger for farm.
We'll see if Rattlesnake does an aggressive triple lane. Again, Eastern teams typically don't do it. We see Icy already charging up Unstable Concoction, blowing himself up at the fountain. But You want to go ahead and introduce the lineups for us, Lumi?
Yeah, let's quickly do so here. Both these teams, if they lose this best of 3, they're out of the Alienware Cup. Kabu running to the botling as Leshrac, playing support here. We're going to have Sagam or Neo playing the Crystal Maiden. Luo going south here on the Gyrocopter. Going solo mid, it's going to be Lamb. We need some game sounds, apparently, as Merlini is asking for them. Dragonite should be going solo mid. In fact, he is on the Dragonite. And last but not least, it's going to be Alchemist being handled by Icy.
You want to introduce the other team too while we figure out this sound issue?
Alright, okay, it's going to be Brax going on the top solo lane on the Nature's Prophet. Wisp is going to be handled by 1437. Vengeful Spirit being handled by Misery. And Phantom Assassin being handled by Pycat. And of course, Queen of Pain going mid, being handled by G.
And as you said, aggressive triple lane already. Pycat forced to stand like in the shadows of his T1 tower because he is just so scared. This quad disable lineup is very, very scary from Rattlesnake. And LGD.int, a little bit, I think they're ready for it, but they don't have any control of their jungle right now. And Rattlesnake is just roaming around the map as 5, setting up some wards, 1 rune ward for bottom as well as 1 sentry to block that pool.
Yep. So one of the big thing that we should definitely look towards to is how the Dire will dive for kills. It's somewhat dangerous to dive Pycat particularly because he has Stout Shield. He will, I imagine, pick up Phantom Strike fairly early and maybe even a point of blur. I feel like Phantom Assassin is deceptively tanky under the tower, and if you look at the base armor of these particular heroes, Crystal Maiden at 1, Leshrac at 3, but very low HP pool, and of course Icy, Alchemist at 1. If you're tanking that tower, you're probably going to be...
Well, you got to watch mid.
Yeah, they are going to be making a big dive. Neo should be taking up Frostbite. He has. That will disable Blink if you get the cast on. And there's the Frostbite. And Slurf to follow through. And Dragon Tail, that is the easiest first blood that Neo just picked up for himself. Very nicely done.
Yeah, LGD.int, they did not have control of their jungle. I actually would have liked them to scout a little bit, maybe down here, just close to the tower, relatively safe, just to scout out what Rattlesnake is up to. I feel like if Queen of Pain noticed that there were 5 heroes bottom, he would have played a little bit less aggressively. He was down his hill. He didn't take Blink first. He actually had it unskilled, but he actually skills Shadow Strike first. He wasn't on the left side of the creeps. He was more in this area down here. And again, a little bit of misplay from G, I must say. You have to play a little bit defensively, especially against this many stuns from Rattlesnake.
And you just got to question, what is LGD supports are trying to do? They're roaming to the mid lane, maybe trying to set up a kill, but at this point, Lamb already has a bottle. They're going to make a play here against Lamb, but because he's actually Dragonite and fairly tanky, I know Bruno just walked out of room, but
like, look at his placement. He's sitting on the high ground. He knows that the supports are missing. This is contrary to God's play. So we are, like, Lanem is playing so safely in middle, and we already see rotation from Kabu, and as soon as that happens, he ventures downhill. This is just very
Here comes Misery. They're going to go right on. The Smurf is going to disengage. Well, at least trying to do so. Lamb walks back to now half HP and a ton of time. And more importantly, a ton of resources being wasted on the LG support. They got nothing done. G, though, did get a little bit more lane control back, and which is fairly important considering that he did give away the first blood. But 2 people is more than enough to shut down Pycat on the bot lane. They get level 2, and looks like that bite goes off. They're not going to make a kill attempt against Pycat, or will they? A stun flies out, just a little bit of harass, and it would go back to the farm train. So, seems like most of the supports will now rotate a bot lane. It's going to be a full 3-on-3, which I, again, believe Rattlesnake should have the advantage there.
Oh, it looks like they may make a move on Pycat. Nope. And the supports that finally rotated bottom. They have not gotten anything accomplished in 2 minutes besides putting out a tiny bit of pressure on the DK and putting this war down on bottom. The rotation from Rattlesnake has been fairly spot on right now. They have, I think they've seen this strat before, and at least fairly well prepared for it. The 1 hero rotation mid from the support from Leshrac just totally shut down that early aggression.
And now, what do you do if you're on LGD side? I mean, you could pull your jungle, as that Central Ward did die, but if you're trying to pull the jungle, under-level Phantom Assassin is going to have a fairly tough time. Stifling Dagger farm is nice, but only if you get the second point of it. The damage is somewhat lackluster right now. You can't really spam it too much because you always have to save a point, or at least enough mana for Phantom Strike. So Pycat staying relatively far back and really not getting too much CS.
Yeah, I think they kind of need to just ditch his bottom lane. Pycat is sitting at 5 CS, which is decent considering the position that he's in, but they have the potential to die at any time.
Vengeful Spirit threatening for a stun. He's only level 1, and of course Wisp level 1 as well. How are we doing particularly up on top? Brax, because his 2 supports are on the top vicinity of the jungle at the beginning of the game.
He's doing so well on top.
Yeah,
My
I mean,
goodness.
it's a fairly even 1v1 matchup, but you can't expect too much out of a Nature's Prophet until, I want to say, 7-8 minutes in a game. But he's definitely surviving quite well for now.
Yeah, and there's that early boost pickup from Luo, so he's not going very greedy. I think he's actually scared of the aggression from the Wisp and the Ventral, although they have just been camping bottom.
Oh, here comes the stun right now on the Wisp. He's level 2. Will be running away. IC is going to be... There's really no follow-up on the stun because of a very good zone by PyCat. In fact, they want to go right back. It's going to be going on IC. Magic Missile is going to... Nice stun coming in. Here comes Brax. I said he's not going to be accomplishing too much, but he will. Two-man splitter is going to follow through. Nice Magic Stick usage as well. IC is going to Tango on the other way, trying to follow through with Tango. And that Sprout was kind of awkward in that situation, but really good follow-up here. They got the kill against the enemy carry. PyCat's going to find himself a ton of creeps under his tower. A little bit awkward for Brax though, as he somehow has to walk all the way back to base and maybe even teleport back up top with the TP scroll.
Yeah, I think that was very necessary for them. They needed to establish a little bit more dominance in this bottom lane, and PyCat will finally be able to get some breathing room, and these two heroes on a Rattlesnake are forced to play very defensively. They need to try and fend off this early aggression, get some levels up on Wisp, and find some farm on PyCat.
Well, meanwhile though, with Brax gone, we see Gyrocopter slowly pushing out that lane. Gyrocopter, I imagine, is going to be going for a very standard phase drum, maybe an early BKB rush. This is all the kind of common hype right now.
Oh,
Misery sees Kabu. Kabu in really big trouble here because PyCat will initiate with that Stifling Dagger from such a long range. Meanwhile, they want to go right back on the Wisp though. Kabu's low, but 1437 even lower. They're going to get on kill, and will Kabu be okay? A second Blink Strike is necessary, but Blink Strike has a very long cooldown at level 1. And Kabu, despite being somewhat out of position, great rotation coming out from the two other players on Rattlesnake. Got the kill on Wisp first.
Yeah, Brass actually canceled his TP. I think that may have gone in favor of LGDint there had he TP'd him, but he does need his farm. He's falling a little bit behind to the Gyrocopter since he left the lane. Meanwhile, G in the mid lane is dominating Dragonite in a pure one-on-one situation after that first blood. 34-11 in last hits denies. That is over double the last hits of Lon M in middle.
Yeah, that's something you would expect, right? A melee versus Queen of Pain is never a good situation. We do see 1437 rotating in, and when you have things like Blink Strike and of course natural Blink on Queen of Pain, that tether stun is actually pretty impressive early. They're going to make a run on top. Rune and Lamb is not going to get the double damage. Queen of Pain can go for a kill, and you can see how scared Lamb actually. Tether for the stun. Yes, it's going to come through. Nicely done, and you now pop that double damage for the kill. Lamb already losing on the CS war will drop down once again. Great job here by both play of 1437G. That was some beautiful coordination from our
beautiful
Western
indeed.
players.
That just sets that DK so far back. I thought he had the upper edge after that early first one on Queen of Pain, but he is having a very, very difficult time. So nice rotation by LGD and supports and Brax.
On the bot lane, PyCat,
Wow.
very close to death. Does have 4 charges on the Magic Stick. Stifling Dagger comes through. I really like the fact that he's playing very aggressive. He just won 1v2 against these two particular heroes, but as a Phantom Assassin, your killing power is actually quite high. Does not have Cup de Gras just yet, but once he picks that one up, should be able to look for these solo kills fairly effectively.
That was such a clutch Belt of Giant Strength pickup on him. He actually went for that over the boots, and he actually went for
Very
Magic
smart.
Stick first.
Very smart.
He would have died had he not had that 6 strength, and he already has plenty of move speed and mobility with a tether as well as a Blink Strike, and that just totally saved him a death. So he's looking pretty 0-0-1 in this. Ooh,
And it looks like they're going to make it go on Icy. I don't think Icy will make it out of there. He does have Strength Shred, so they want to fight that one out. 1437 is low. One more hit's going to do it. Crystal Maiden so damn slow. Has to blow a spell to get the kill, but here comes PyCat, Stifling Dagger, and Brax comes in as well. That's going to be a second kill. Neo trying to run from the left, and I don't think she's going to make it out. Misery looking for a stun. Out of mana for 6. They're going to get it with Stifling Dagger, and this is why Phantom Assassin, one of the most underrated early game carries, simply because she's so spammable. Her long range of initiation and follow-up with things like Blink Strike is just absolutely a tier. And now she will have Treads Gold if that's what she wants. And I guess that's what she's going for since she opened up with Belt of Giant Strength.
And here's where the draft comes into play. They have this great synergy in between Wisp and Nature's Prophet, really just Nature's Prophet in this early game that we've seen thus far. But with the Phantom Assassin pick, they kind of baited Rattlesnake into doing aggressive triple lane. They're like, oh, you have Wisp, you have Phantom Assassin. Those two heroes are so weak. We'll just destroy your triple lane with our triple stun. And meanwhile, they are constantly in a 3v4 situation with Brax rotating. And now they've actually lost the triple lane. And PA is finding amazing amounts of farm, even against this really difficult offensive.
Top lane, they want Luo, and they're going to get Luo. Suddenly, just everybody. A call down's going to drop. I think 1437 might be in a little bit of trouble, but they just blow up the Gyrocopter. I am so impressed with LGD's rotation. And they're really, the way to play this, 1437 was able to get a ton of experience up top. And he's not just AFK farming like most Nature's Prophet would. He's actually helping out in every single engagement, teleporting in, and he is going to be going back to a quick hand of Midas, and now he's level 7. That Wrath of Nature is going to do a number on these very, very squishy supports.
Meanwhile, they do lose a level 1 tower, or tier 1 tower mid, to level 1 Edict, as well as the recent level 6 Dragon Knight pickup. But again, I did not expect them to win the early game with this line. Again, Rattlesnake's draft was a little bit greedy, but
and
they're
win it this
punishing
hard,
them heavily, right?
Yeah, I mean, Leshrac and Crystal Maiden are absolutely beautiful early game heroes to kind of play offensive strats. Not really going to be accomplishing too much. And Lamb, of course, losing the lane, mid lane a lot harder than expected. And Luo dying to that first blood, or that kill just up top now. I think Rattlesnake effectively is losing every single lane.
Lumi, you got to check out this CM picture.
I saw, and
that's
I was
hilarious.
mentally scarred. Well, not mentally scarred, but...
You need the frost tips.
Well...
Frosted tips.
Well... We'll talk about that later, as we do see a Queen of Pain rotation up top. Still retains her ultimate, and I've already have power treads up. So G, of course, as per usual, going for a Orchid early build. And if you get Orchid against this particular lineup, you see food absolutely walking everywhere.
Wow, look at this early Ancient stack. Just 10 minutes in, level 6 Alchemist is about to take out this triple stack and even stack it one more time. And here's really where the power of Acid Spray comes in. He went a 3-2-0 build. No Grievel's Greed, but he will make up that with the Ancient stack. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of gold for him.
Well, forget the Ancient stack. It's going to be LG threatening to take the tier 1 tower. Treant's not being able to summon just right now, but Brax already have the Hand of Midas. A first point into Aura from Misery. And, well, here comes the Acid Spray to at least slow down this particular push. But they could dive that Alchemist very easily. Whenever his ultimate is going to be off cooldown, they're going to make that dive. Call down just to use on the creeps a little bit. Oh, Misery, got to be very careful. Second Flak's gonna kill it. Just a 1 second stun is gonna get the kill. Misery misstepping a little bit and feeds needlessly.
I think it was a good idea for them to not actually try and contest the defense up top, just because Rattlesnake's lineup is a little bit better right now. LGD is cutting top G in trouble in mid.
Oh, he's gonna get bitten. Well, trying to relocate him back out. Nice recovery here, coming out from 1437. Courier. Courier, a couple more hits. Burst is going to get him back, and I think that Wisp is going to basically suicide, unless he's going to bring somebody back. I'm not really, well, at 1437, easiest kill of their lives, but...
That was a pretty good relocate.
Yeah, it really was. You cannot give away a Queen of Pain, especially when she hasn't even used her ultimate just yet. I'm very, very surprised that G is so cautious with his Queen of Pain ultimate. Generally, he's just kind of blows it away for a quick kill, and so far he's still holding on to it.
Yeah, they have a lot of stuns. I think that he needs a very early BKB or a Lincoln Sphere. Lincoln Sphere probably not as useful, but I think he might be going for Orchid first. They're just going all out on Glass Cannon.
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, when you're playing this kind of global offensive with things like Relocate, when you have mobile heroes such as Prophet, the PA, and Queen of Pain, just go in, get kills, and get out. I feel like it's the correct response to their advantage early game, and so far they're pressuring towers as well. CM, level 5. Very impressive with CM play so far. Fairly good job in terms of keeping a level. That's one of the weaknesses of Crystal Maiden. Once the kind of mid-game rolls around, once the first Nightfall rolls around, she has trouble keeping up in terms of experience.
And checking the experience graph, just it's almost dead even in terms of experience, and I see a TP in from the Nature's Prophet, but he's going to cancel it. And in terms of the gold graph, a little over 1,000 in favor of Rattlesnake, but keep in mind that they are 2 towers up, so it actually should be a little bit more. But LGD pulling out ahead in the last hit category. We see a smoke on these 2 supports in the mid lane.
It's those ancient stacks, man. Right now, Kabu as well as Crystal Maiden, they are so dead on the mid lane. Sonic Wave to be used, but actually didn't catch Kabu. Magic Missile, a couple more hits. Wrath of Nature comes in, and Neo is on the run. Is Brax gonna go for the kill? He's teleporting back in and canceling it. Oh, Kabu, or excuse me, Leo will survive to tell the tale.
Yeah, their strength right now is outnumbering Rattlesnake in these team fights. They can't actually take him in a 5-on-5 engagement, but they're so good at finding these 4-on-3, these 3-on-2 scenarios, and getting kills because of the extreme amounts of mobility in their lineup. I think that these T1 towers being down so early actually hurts Rattlesnake a little bit more, because they have to venture forth to the river if they want to farm the creeps a lot. Oh, on bottom lane, see a Relocate.
Yeah, but they're actually in bigger trouble as Relocate comes in and Stun comes in as well. They want Icy. Icy's going to be the first one to fall, and Dragon Knight, I don't think he's going to make it back home. He has no teleport scroll. Calldown's going to come through, and how much damage will they do? 1437 will make it back home. Misery in big trouble. Dies to a Crystal Maiden ultimate. God, that's beautiful. Re-TP back here for the Wisp to get everybody a little bit extra mana. Not going to hit there, and everybody is going to
G on the right side.
Uh-oh, is he gonna come on? Is he gonna die? G here gets melted on the right. A little bit tether up, and it's Pycat gonna go for some heroic. He's gotta blink back out. He's gets stunned, and where's the chain stun coming out from the rest of the team? Pycat down to about 50% health. Still has blink strike available. Will just get out. But really, really good recovery from Rattlesnake. They cannot lose that bot fight, and I think they're gonna try to fight for this tower as well. Rattlesnake needs these tier 1 tower just to give themselves a little bit of pocket gold, and they will find them T1 on the bot lane.
Again, in a straight 5-on-5 fight, LGD usually loses out. I think that was a bit of a misplay by godz. He was just chilling in the trees, just let DK walk up to her and stun.
How did they even see her though?
He just expected him not to blink. Dragon Knight just ventured forth into the jungle, just expecting her to be there.
Well, that was a lucky find. Brax on the top lane here. Do you think he's going to be going for something like Shadow Blade, or are we going to see a quick mech into Hex?
I think, or I need to check the Wisp farm first. I think it would probably be better for them to be to get a mech right now. But knowing Brax, I think he'll probably get a Shadow Blade.
Yeah, Brax generally a fairly aggressive player. They're looking for a swap, and well, I didn't even know this worked. The swap into an immediate tether stun follow up with the magic missile. A couple more right click to do the job. I am extremely impressed with this kind of double roaming Vengeful Spirit, and it looks like we're relocating on the bot lane for a kill Crystal Maiden. Oh, if she gets magic missile, she's dead. Queen of Pain blinks for her, applies a Shadow Strike. There's a Stifling Dagger from long range, and there is a couple more right hit. They're looking, chasing for more, but no, they're not going to find anybody.
Yeah, you can tell that LGD has practiced this strat a lot. They are on par with moving around with Brax, getting these relocate ganks, these swap tether stuns. That you can just tell their execution is very, very good running this esoteric strategy.
Yeah, this is one of the more impressive kind of performance from Wisp. Relocate is literally used every time it comes off. Cooldown, Prophet always on top, and Vengeful Spirit not really falling behind in terms of experience as well. Looking over the experience graph, it's going to be the Radiant side taking pretty much a big lead. When you're playing kind of slow farming, more farming oriented heroes like Dragon Knight and Alchemist, and you're being ganked all over the map that you're even too afraid to farm too far away from your towers, what do you do as a player? What do you do as a team?
Well, I mean, Rattlesnake has 2 Shadow Blades. I'm almost certain that they're going to get at least 1 kill with that. Dragon Knight has this already picked up, and IC's Shadow Amulet is on his way. Claymore already in his inventory, so they need a lot of sentries and dust. I don't actually see any of them except 1 sentry on EO, but they need to take a gem and, again, keep continuing to play aggressively. I haven't seen Wisp die too many times right now. Actually, he's 0-3, but if they can hold that gem and, again, continue the aggression on Rattlesnake, punish them for not getting BKB first to try and chain stun them with swap into tether stun into an actual ventral stun and burst them down with Brax's ult, I think that they can continue to snowball into this mid-game phase.
So we're going to see a tier 1 push up top here. Brax using those streams. One thing I do want to point out about Brax's Nature's Prophet play, and a lot of pub players should definitely learn about this. Don't use your Wrath of Nature needlessly for farm. Yeah, it's nice, it hits every creep on the map, but it's also a very, very big nuke, especially against some of these squishier heroes, such as Crystal Maiden and Leshrac, and a lot of times, it's that extra needed damage to get kills.
Wow, just look at Rattlesnake's positioning right now. They have 3 people huddled around the T1 and 2 people on bottom. They're just so scared.
Yeah, when you're playing against, what, 3 or 4 global heroes that could pop up at any time, what can you do, right?
They just let the T1 tower fall for free up top, though.
You can't make that solo TP because you have no idea if Wisp is going to come in with a PA or a Vengeful Spirit, and of course you know Prophet is always going to come in. So Brax is going to pick up, like you expected, a Shadow Blade, and the split push and the global ganking is going to be even more difficult to defend now.
Oh, we see a solo TV on top by Lanem. Let's see if they try and punish it. I think
he does have a Shadow Blade, so he feels a little bit safer. Is there detection available on the Radiant side? Quickly
EO
check
just
out.
picked up a dust in his stash, but it is not in his inventory yet.
Man, they are completely ready. Once they get that dust, I think they're going to be making it go. Keep in mind that there is a 10% slow now on the dust, so Shadow Blade's extra mobility would not be as effective at the very least. I think they're looking to set up a gank against PA, but again, PA with a Blink Strike with Blur, and look at this HP base build. He's going for Sanj. Like, this is some next level PA build. Is this going to be SNY? Is this going to be Heaven's Halberg? We'll have to wait and see.
I have no idea. I would say that he needs a BKB, but that casual belt of strength. Meanwhile, Rattlesnake going for the Roshan. This LGD.int ward right here actually just recently expired. I don't think they have any idea. And with a -6 armor from an acid spray, they should be able to take it down uncontested. LGD.int, they most people would expect that they think that something's up, but Rattlesnake, again, they've been off the map for quite some time now, either huddling around their T1s on mid and bottom, or just hovering around the ancient stacks. LGDint really have no idea where they are. They just dropped a ward, but too little too late. Free Aegis for Rattlesnake. It will be picked up by the DK.
I mean, this is a fairly smart recovery from Rattlesnake. They're saying, well, we actually can't farm by ourselves anyway, so might as well group up and do something meaningful. One thing you can do is a smoke gank, and of course the other thing is go into the Roshan pit and make something of it. They did, and now Lamb is going to pick up the Aegis. You think that maybe it's going to be better on Alchemist? They did give it to Dragon Knight. They're going to try to maybe gank Pycat on the bot lane, but LGD completely prepared, would swap to back him up as well as relocate back out.
Yeah, I think it's really a toss-up. I don't think it's necessarily better on one hero than another. I think that Lanem has more chance of dying, but Gyrocopter is a more important hero, so it doesn't really matter which one goes in. Just Lanem should just go in first now that he has the Aegis, but he was probably going to go in first anyways. I think they need some BKB pickups, though. The mass burst damage from the Queen of Pain is just going to destroy them, as well as the Tether Stun, the Nature Prophet ultimate. They have a lot of magic burst if they don't decide to get BKBs, and they don't have any pipe carriers.
I mean, that's a fair point and all, but has Queen of Pain actually done much? If you look at her score, 2, 2, and 3 for a Queen of Pain this kind of deep into mid-game already with Orchid's finish, it feels like G is not really finding those kills, and I think that's more towards Rattlesnake playing very well with their hero positioning. Crystal Maiden, Lestrak always basically hidden or in the jungle and things like that sort. And I'm not saying G is playing poorly, he just can't actually find those heroes.
I think they need more aggressive vision up on the side of LGD, whether that means scouting with a Treant like Brex just did, or placing aggressive wards either up here, the high cliff ward, maybe on the opponent's hill and middle, or at
maybe
the opponent's ancient stack. I think any of these would be good to set up some aggression for LGD. And knowing where they are, if they can't fight in a position, like this is a terrible position for them to fight in, at least if they know where they are, they can play as greedy as possible, or even just go on this solo lawn end on top. But he does have the Aegis.
Ooh, Rattlesnake trying to lay a trap here for this particular tower, only showing the Gyrocopter for now. And they're defending at least, or at least only showing for a single defend. Now they're actually baiting the Blink Strike. Tether's going to come in as well, but here comes Icy. Gotta stun the Wisp. He's the most important target. He gets stunned. Focus fire onto that guy, and he gets blown the hell up. Great bait being laid out here by Rattlesnake. Vengeful Spirit says, see ya. Well, they don't lose too much because of it, because their tier 1 is already down. And a quick rotation from Brax going to mid lane says, you guys are not here. Let's get that tier 1.
Oh, and these wards were just the ward of pair of sentries and observer ward by LGD. So again, they're having this constant problem where they don't know where Rattlesnake is, forced to make bad decisions just because of lack of vision.
Yeah, and Rattlesnake making the best of situation. Again, I just want to stress it's so hard to play against Wisp, so hard to play against a big Prophet at this stage of the game. But Rattlesnake moving as a unit, setting up smart bait, setting up smart tower defense, and tier 1 bot, tier 1 mid, both surviving right now.
Yeah, it's very hard to force a 5-on-5 engagement, to force a tower push with this Aegis up on Dragon Knight. They are good at bursting hero once, but twice, I don't think they have the damage output for that, especially with not really any items up on the Phantom Assassin. Yeah,
well, you talked about the PA needing to go BKB, and I guess it's just a belt of giant strength for sure. Maybe he thought about the Sage, but he is going to go back to BKB, and he's going to finish it in 100 gold, so pretty nice pick up. Meanwhile, Rattlesnake setting up camp on the enemy jungle, and that's actually not a bad way to kind of creep yourself a little bit back in the game. They did lose a ton of gold. Brax maybe thinking about a TP up top. Is he trying to steal Ancients?
He's trying to backdoor bottom.
Yeah, it's going to be backdoor. There is no tower protection on the tier 1 tower. They do get it back in the mid lane, though. Looks like Pycat in bigger trouble. Not too sure whether he bought the BKB. I'm not sure. And LGD supports not coming in time.
Yeah, they really wanted a defensive swap there, but not able to make that happen. Checking the Roshan timer, still 2 minutes left on the Aegis. Rattlesnake's going to go for at least some pressure out on the T2. I don't think they have the firepower to continue. Very low mana on the Dragon Knight, as well as Icy.
Wisp is in some awkward direction right now without Teleport Scroll. He runs up north, and Kabu's not going to make that chase. Tier 2 in a little bit trouble, although it is going to have some backdoor protection region. 1437 is just going all over the place. We need to buy a teleport scroll to maybe even defend that tier 2. I think that tier 2 is gone. Although backdoor coming up from Brax, just making all sorts of plays. Well, they do get I want to say tower trade, but immediate TP back here from the Leshrac. Can he get the tower deny? If he missed last hits against Treants. Okay, he doesn't. He gets he kills all the trees, and Brax being forced back. So
that's not a bad trade for LGD at all.
Okay.
They lost a PA, but she had already had her BKB, so she didn't really lose too much gold there. And they got 2 1s, although one of them is denied. They really have to worry about the split push pressure. We see a smoke coming from Rattlesnake.
And let's see if they're gonna find anybody here. They do see G. Again, G, I don't think he even uses Orchid a single time. And if he gets Frostbitten here, he's absolutely dead. Dragon Tail, gotta be opening it up here. They do Dragon Tail. Can you actually swap? Or there's no response. 1437 will link his ally out. That's a Vengeful Spirit that he just saved, which doesn't mean too much. And PA playing very smartly. What he's trying to do is allow the Wisp to have a tether target back out. He's actually going for a kill, popping that BKB. 1v4, 1v5. The Wisp comes back in, gets a two-man stun, and here comes Luo dropping out all the burst damage. Brax is going to go down as well. I'm just not sure about TBA's decision to actually take that fight. G's going to blink to the north. Blink strike here. Yeah, these Q are just frogging it out of there, and can they make it back home? That's a bigger question. Lamb and Icy are hot on pursuit. Pycat has no blink target. There's a stun on top of him. TP back out. I don't think he will make it back home, but no, he will. Great play.
Ooh, what a clutch TP by them. That could have been a lot worse. Again, that decision by PA to go on there, I guess they wanted to fight, but his target selection was not the best. The Electric just ran a ring around the Rosie, around this tree line, and just kited the PA
yeah,
for her 10-second BKB, and you really want to get a little bit more out of that. But again, it wasn't too bad for them, I suppose. They did force a buyback out of the Queen of Pain, though.
Oh, Neo is invis up right now. Look at everybody on Rattlesnake is invis and perfect chains and frostbite. Again, preventing that blink from coming out, and it's going to be yet another beat killed.
Yeah, this Orchid choice, I don't think it was the correct pickup. She was 2-2, now 2-4. She really needs some more defensive capabilities. Maybe like a swap into a BKB pop. Any of these would, like, just because of the playstyle that Rattlesnake is in right now. They're just 5-manning or finding ganks where LGDint is being picked up. There aren't really any small skirmishes, like no 2-on-2, 3-on-3 situations that we've seen. And because of that, you're forced to go team fight items.
Yeah, well, I don't really particularly hate the Orchid because he got it, what, in like 16, 17 minutes? It's a very decent time Orchid, but he just never could find a proper target. It's going to be PA coming in right now. BKB going second time. It's going to be a Crystal Maiden. Cup Day Groff proc one, he says. He does get the final hit for at least one kill. Luo popping his BKB. Misery running very forward, very aggressively, and he's going to pay for it. Misery goes down. Pycat is going to re-engage. I don't think he can. He's running back. Where the hell is the Queen of Pain? Queen of Pain now respawns. She's got a TP top and rescues ally. Lamb comes in. Do they have enough burst damage and follow-up stuns? They will, and Pycat dies a second time. Here comes Queen of Pain, just really late to the party. Can't really blame him because he dies. So again, you gotta question LG's decision to try to defend that tier 2, try to fight at that tier 2 without Brax teleporting in, without the Queen of Pain being even alive.
Yeah, I think they're forcing unnecessary fights. Ooh, Alchemist charging up stun on top.
Yeah, they're gonna try to make that go on G, and well, G again doesn't see it coming. I don't think it matters whether he had BKB or whatever item he had there. He would have died. So.
Lincoln's
Yeah, Lincoln would have maybe helped him survive. Brax is, to me, the only person that's lifting this team right now with multiple backdoors, with farming all over the place. And, well, he is still the highest net farmer in the entire game. But it's just a nature's prophet, and this is not his stage to shine just yet.
Rattlesnake is doing a great job of forcing the issue, bringing the fight to LGD while Queen of Pain doesn't have any defensive items, and just punishing them for their draft. Their weak 5-on-5 lineup, their weak item choices, and Rattlesnake has pulled it way far ahead in terms of XP and gold graph and kills, 18-11 in favor of Rattlesnake.
I think XP is actually worth mentioning second point here because LG, a ton of their killing power is nuke-based, right? When Vengeful Spirit Magic Missile, things like Sonic Wave, and of course, you can even consider PA as a quote-unquote nuke-based hero because she depends on proccing her crits to get kills. And when you're so far behind in terms of experience, that means the enemy team is higher level, and they're going to be tankier as by nature. And Rattlesnake, I think they're kind of steamroll out of control. They could easily take down Roshan whenever Roshan spawns. Or if they want to set up shop in front of the tier 3, they could do that as well.
Yeah, I think they need to pick up more. Need to play more defensively, whether that means laying centering traps or just trying to split push and avoid engagements. LGD is not strong enough to fight Rattlesnake right now. They need to continue the pressure on the T2s, try and force Rattlesnake to split up, yet still try and dodge kills. But again, Rattlesnake has been doing a fantastic job of forcing the issue, and maybe with this next Roshan, they may force a T3 fight.
Well, I think LGD is doing just as you suggested, trying to set up something here in this particular cliff, waiting very patiently, waiting for anybody to just walk up the hill, but they are going to find one. It's going to be Lamb. Lamb, does he see the crystal? No, he sees somebody, and he invisibly goes with this that has a gem available, and of course, BKB and even a hasten bottle. I don't think he's dying anytime soon.
Yep, and Brax is actually has the Scythe of Vice completed. So as you said, Brax is really lifting his team up right now, carrying them 3-1-4, minus Shadow Blade, Scythe of Vice in 28 minutes, and he's been participating in a lot of fights.
Here comes Lam with Haste. He sees, oh, there's going to be a stun, but they really can't make the go swap and immediate stun afterwards. There's a silence on top, but he's got the BKB. He won't be popping it and running away with Shadow Blade as well. So everybody disengage. Elite force out a BKB charge. Lam thinking about re-engage. He's really got to be careful because he's the gem holder for the team. And
I'm surprised there wasn't a sheep there. I think they could have just chain stunned him and killed him, pick up the gem, and that would have been a great turnaround for them. But regardless, it looks like both teams will choose to disengage.
Yeah, and again, if you're Rattlesnake, you're happy about that because you do have Alchemist with Max Grievous Greed. As long as the game goes on, your team has a ton of room to grow because they have 3 carries in the form of a Dragonite, a Gyrocopter, and an Alchemist, and of course they do have the Roshan advantage as well. So if this game goes later and later, I just see them winning this game harder and harder.
The supports on Rattlesnake are just totally out-farming and out-leveling the supports on LGD right now. They need a mech, but nobody is even close. EO just has brown boots, bottle, and a ton of support items, and 200 gold. So it's going to be a very long time until EO gets one. Misery on the VS just has treads, magic stick. They need urns, they need drums, they need Vlad's possibly for the Phantom Assassin. They need mech. They need a lot of items. And meanwhile, the Crystal Maiden has a Force Staff.
Yeah.
The Letrek has a
Ghost
Arcane
Scepter.
Boots, Ghost Scepter, Urn. I mean, they're totally out farming them right now.
Right, you made a point about mech, and earlier I asked you about whether Brax should have been picking up that mech. I'm not trying to say Brax is playing poorly. In fact, I think Brax is playing very well for his team. But do you think he maybe needed to go with the mech for the team? Because they actually can't take team fights because they just can't outlast.
I think it's really on the Vengeful and the EO just constantly dying. They had a fantastic early game, but the Wisp is 0-6 right now. There's no way you can get engagement on top.
Well, they do have a Centaur to scope things out, and Lamb angrily destroys it. But again, right now, we don't see Pycat farming, but you're going back to your point about the Wisp and Vengeful Spirit falling behind.
Yeah, they're just super under farm right now. I feel like they played a little bit more passively and just try and stack a little bit for PA, for the Nature's Prophet. They could have a little bit more items. They have 3 towers down right now, and again, a little bit more split push action. Brax is constantly putting pressure on this tower top. It was about 1100 HP a few minutes ago, now down to 700. War of Attrition, split push style, that is Nature's Prophet's strength, and especially against this constant 5-man Dota from Rattlesnake.
It's definitely his strength, but he's got to be very careful with doing so because there's double Shadow Blade, like you pointed out earlier, and that's a ton of killing potential. Of course, Frostbite will keep him in Viz from getting able to walk out with the Shadow Blade. He does have a Scythe of Ice as a way of defending himself, but yeah, Brax have to play his perfect A game and being able to split push without dying.
There's no good targets for PA at this point too. Well, fight's about to start.
Yeah, I mean, he can't go on the 2 support because they have 2 Ghost Scepters, and Luo has a Butterfly, and the rest of the are a tanky Strength Hero, so there is absolutely 0 targets for him to go on. Here comes the Siege from Rattlesnake. Very nice amount of damage being dished out, but on the same side, there is no mech on Rattlesnake either, but they do have urns, so they're definitely keeping up their HP.
Yeah, and again, with his Aegis, they have another 3.5 minutes on it. Looks like they are continuing this. They want to end this game quickly before PA gets an MKB, before they get another big item on Queen of Pain. She's working on BKB, finally.
Whew. Well, I mean, I don't think she's going to finish that BKB. And what is the BKB Queen of Pain actually going to do this game?
Not die. It's important that she just doesn't get focused down, because the longer she stays alive in the fight, the more she can kite, the more AoE damage they do, and that is actually one of their biggest weaknesses right now, lack of AoE damage. And again, PA is going to get kited. They have 2 Ghost Scepters, they have super tanky heroes, they have a lot of BKBs, they have the Aegis, and I don't want to miss this fight.
Oh, here comes the Siege on the tower. I think they're looking for a swap, but whoever Vengeful Spirit swap, I really don't think they could do much either. I think if Vengeful Spirit swap, it's just a one-way suicidal initiation for herself, and whoever she swaps is probably going to survive thanks to things like Force Staff, Gold Scepters, and just the natural tankiness of the heroes.
I think they should just leave this tower go and try and force some pressure out on the other lanes. I mean, they have the racks up, but it's still Rattlesnake just constantly pushing middle, and Brax is just sitting in base. This is Nature's Prophet time to shine. Push those T2 towers, make some bad decisions, and decide to TP back, try and pick them off when they're alone, or if just one person TP back, relocate on them. They need to force Rattlesnake away from this 5-man. That is not their strength. Force them to split up, put some pressures on those towers, Brax.
And I think that's exactly what they're trying to set up here. G is going to be pretending that he's a one-man pushing, and of course you can see that Brax is pushing top as well. Just complete map pressure, but the Dire says, yeah, you could go for our TIE Towers. We're going to go straight for it. Brax Icy leading the charge, and here comes the Frost Dragon form as well. Tier 2 tower goes down on the top lane. I do believe Tier 2 is going to be in trouble on bot lane as well. Vengeful Spirit looking for a swap, but everybody is already out of there. So trading a Tier 2 for a Rax, I think Rattlesnake is happy with that. They should look to defend the bot tower, though.
Right, I think that was the best decision they could make at the time, though. I think if they engaged, they would just gotten destroyed with.
They would have got team wiped and lost the other Raxes.
I think it would just been GG if they had engaged. Sure, you would have had a couple buybacks, but the hit would be too great for them right now. I think LGD can still hold on. They do have the proper split push lineup. They do have PA, one of the best late game carries. The XP graph is falling away from them, but it's even out a little bit, only about 12,000 XP.
Oh no, he missed Cypher right now. The relocate is going to come in as well, BKB Lamp, but here comes the relocate in. Misery getting focused quite easily, and the 2 support, they just melt. Queen of Pain is going to get 1 kill against the Crystal Maiden and double TP back out. I don't think they will get found. Well, you trade a 2 support for 1. It's not too bad. Of course, that's, you know, a disadvantage trade, but any trade you get here is okay. And of course, Pycat not even in that fight, surprisingly, but you know, he's gonna get some freefarm time.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna go
okay.
a lot worse.
Yeah.
Very narrow escapes, well played by LG, and they're only sacrificing 2 of their weak supports. Again, they've just been dying all game. 0-7-8 on the Wisp, 2-5-5 on the Vengeful Seer. But of course, you don't expect these supports to have the best times, especially against this mass AoE, mass stun lineup from Rattlesnake.
Right, and they opened the fight with the Mist Scythe on Nature's Prophet. So
he's gonna stun himself.
Oh, can you actually tell me if you stun yourself, you know it do damage?
It doesn't stun. It doesn't stun heroes
you
around
sure?
you. I'm fairly sure if you stand right next to the Nature's Prophet and you stun yourself, it doesn't hit him. I'm not 100% positive, but I'm like 90% sure. If I had to bet my rares on it, I would.
Okay, because
1 in 9 odds.
I saw earlier that Alchemist was stunning himself next to an enemy Sandstorm Sand King.
And I could be wrong.
I wasn't sure, but maybe he took him out of invisibility. So
I'm not positive on that. Someone will have to double check that for us. Not too confident in my 1 in 9 odds right now. But again, Rattlesnake, they're constantly 5-man Dota. LGDint just needs to play the split push game, get more items on Brax, farm those buybacks, get the MKB up on the Phantom Assassin, and finally, after they try and whittle away this gold lead, again, it's sort of, they've stopped the bleeding at least. It's almost 10,000 gold, but the slope is almost level now.
yeah, you gotta keep in mind that because they lost the mid lane, a ton of the creeps that they're gonna be farming is, you know, vastly inferior. Also, I really like the double rotation of Wisp and Vengeful Spirit early on.
Well, there we have it from K-pop Doses. Unstable concoction always affects a 175 area around where it explodes, including when it explodes on Alchemist. So I am wrong there. Maybe that's why I'm constantly losing my rares.
Shots fired. Yeah.
But thanks for the information there. Anyways, LGDN, they've done the job of stalling for the Aegis, though. Aegis is down now on the Dragon Knight. 2.5 minutes until Roshan or Rattlesnake looking for smoking. They actually do not have a Sentry Ward in mid.
This is nicely done. If you can pick a PA right now, Blink Strikes is used, and they're going to go right on Pycat. Pycat,
That's a buyback.
Not far away from home, but that is a Class C smoking. Just straight down their mid lane, right into their base, and they're going to go for it. No buyback less. Well, does he have buyback? He does.
Yeah, I mean, they have to buyback, right?
Well, there's a buyback, but I really don't think they could take a fight there.
I think they have to. 2 racks down is just a little bit too much for them to handle.
Well, they will back off here, as Rattlesnake says, we don't need to take the fight for now. We could just wait for the Roshan. We have complete map control at this point. And they do back off.
That is one of the oldest tricks in the book, so you really have to expect that as LGDN. The supporters need to just drop a sentry in the middle. If that had happened, they wouldn't have forced a buyback on PA. She probably could have gotten her MKB, and now with that down and the T3 on top, it's just looking scary. Again, they have sentries down, but it's after the fact. You really have to be prepared for that. LGD can't make simple mistakes. But great play by Rattlesnake, finding an opportunity right there, forcing that buyback on the Famous Assassin is just one step closer to them starting out ahead in this best of 3 series.
You know, if I was Pipad, I'll just go, as he picks up Javelin, I would have gone straight Divine, because MKB is nice against the Butterfly on Gyro, but I feel like you're sufficiently behind that. You need some...
Even big crits, though. I mean, can he even...
If you want hit KO... No, if you want hit KO, like the supports, like Crystal Maiden or Leshrac, or maybe if you dent Alchemist before he ultimates, like, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's a very valid point. I would love to see Divine Rapier on him, especially with that overcharge buff. He could just own people.
But in the past, LGD has been, as we pointed out earlier, on the 3 on the clutchness of the hexagon. They are definitely a little bit scaredy cats in these kind of big scale late game situations. So he is going to go for the safe thing, and you know it's definitely a safer choice on Pycat going for MKB. It's not a bad item per se.
Luo has his Satanic, has his Butterfly, have his BKB. How do you kill this guy? Divine Rapier or not, I don't even think he can kill him.
Well, you don't go for him. You go for everybody else.
There's MKB. The first MKB on the side of LGD goes to Brax.
Ooh, Dust.
He does not have buyback though.
Wild Dust, and they're going to focus on Pycat second time. No, they want the Vengeful Spare. These two are running away. 1437 trying to relocate home. No, he does actually fall down to the flat cannon. And Misery, he's got a TP out. TP, my friend, trying to juke the splitter. If he does, or does he, cancel here by Kabu. And well, restun, and that's going to be a double kill.
Is G going to die though? Oh, he has a gem. Whew.
Oh, G was getting chased by Invis.
I think they should have picked up this giant a long time ago. The casualties that they've taken since they've gotten the Shadow Blade is just way too heavy. Finally, a BKB on the Queen of Pain, but they are just slipping by in here. Again, these support deaths are not too important. They're really low levels. They're not too important in these base defenses, but with this next Aegis and Roshan, can LGD really hold on?
Yeah, I don't really think it can. I mean, my question to you is, we saw LGN recover from their really shaky start because of the first blood mid, and they had one of the best kind of roam around the map, getting kill and winning basically every single lane. I think I said that like 13 minutes in the game. What was the turning point for Rattlesnake? They kind of just hid behind the tower for a bit. They snuck the Roshan, and they just suddenly turned the game around. Like, everybody plays so well on Rattlesnake's side. What was the turning point?
I think it was a 3 to 4 minutes where they sat 3 man in middle, 2 man on bottom, and just farmed the Ancients and did Roshan and picked up their Shadow Blaze. The Shadow Blaze was really a big turning point because it makes it that much more difficult for these already poor supports to kill the heroes from Rattlesnake, and they always just got the jump on LGD.int, whether it's a Shadow Blade DK, stunning Phantom Assassin for that buyback, or they're just finding Godz out of position and not really allowing him to use his Orchid. They really need to get the jump, take a Rattlesnake by surprise, but instead it was the other way around, and they fought without BKBs for a good 10 minutes, and LGD didn't punish their 5-man positioning. They didn't punish their Shadow Blade first build, and they just got caught off guard, didn't really know how to play against this super, I mean, I wouldn't want to say passive because they have Shadow Blades and they made kills out of it, but very safe play from Rattlesnake.
And speaking kills of Shadow Blades, Misery, well, I think he was trying to set up some baits on the mid lane, but baits is called a different thing when there's no follow-up.
When he died in like 3 hits.
Yeah. So I think Rattlesnake says, we got Aegis, we're going to just storm in mid, maybe and go in for the top racks.
They have cheese too on Dragon Knight.
Well, Vengeful Turret buys back, but I'm not even sure what that means, but there is an MKB pickup, so if there's any time for LGN to fight, it's got to be now. Swap goes back here. They're going to focus on Icy. Great focus fire. They do burst him down, but before popping his ultimate, Misery down to half, down to quarter. He's dead. G's low as well. G blinks back out. Another buyback here. That's going to be on Kabut. No, that's going to be on the Alchemist. They're going to refocus on Luo. Luo does have Satanic, does have the Aegis, and he's just manhandling everybody. LGG taps out. And I think that was a very, very well effort being played by LGN when they're down by so much. But it wasn't enough. The item was just simply too much. He even gets a Sayonara kill against Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, that was definitely, I mean, it was a good strategy. I think that the PA pick might have actually hurt them. She got her BKB, but she didn't do anything with it.
Yep.
PA really does need some sort of items to deal with it. Or I think she could have gone a phase drum and they could have just taken the fight to Rattlesnake when they had their Shadow Blaze and just try to take them down with Gem after that early game advantage. But they lacked AoE. Like, Vengeful, almost no AoE. Spirit Balls, come on. Wrath of Nature, minimal. PA, none, especially without Battle Fury. And godz just died every fight. He got his BKB at the end, but it was way too late. What is it? The ASC says a dime late and a dime late and a dollar short? I don't know. Whatever it is, just not, I mean, LGD, it had such a good early game, but some wrong item choices. I think the Orchid was a big mistake, actually, for their playstyle. No Gem early on them. And maybe
no team fight items.
No team fight items.
Lack of
right.
drums,
no
mech, pipes, anything.
Burn.
Yeah.
But regardless, it was still a valiant effort by LGD, and I like their creativity with this strat, but Rattlesnake adapted to it very, very well. Usually when a team picks Wisp that is trained in it, like a somewhat Western team like LGD, against the Eastern team, they just fall apart. But Rattlesnake kept their composure, kept it in. 1-0 for Rattlesnake. Good thing I didn't bet on this game.
Well, I mean, Rattlesnake, we thought they were going to come out of gates with creative picks. We talked about the Doombringer, but they just went completely standard, kind of 3 core, 2 support, and they just play straight up standard Dota, and they outplay LGDint. So that's it for us for this particular game. Let's send it back to the caster, and let's see what Bruno and James think about this.
Yo.
All right.
Okay, so if you're a new player, right? You just started playing the game. You're doing the new tutorials that are coming tomorrow in the main client. You probably hear more experienced players saying that Wisp is a very weak laner. Vengeful Spirit is a very weak laner for different reasons, right? So when you see LGDint taking a page out of Alliance's books and going with a tri-lane that involves Phantom Assassin, Wisp, and Vengeful Spirit, you expect them to be contested with an offensive tri-lane, because that's what Rattlesnake did. And you expect the offensive tri-lane to actually win that lane because, as I said before, the supports are weak. However, LGDint did quite well in that part of the game. They were doing very fine. They were contesting, they were getting the rotations from the Nature's Prophet.
Yep.
So
And
they got ahead.
as Lumi mentioned, PA is in
Is
early
it-
game. It's
Exactly. It's a
very
very good early game
spammable and yeah.
carry. And then you say, of course, you have Nature's Prophet, you have Wisp, you have the advantage during the mid game because the enemy will not feel safe, you can't farm properly because you'll get the pickoffs, you can get jumped on all the time. And the complete opposite happened. Rattlesnake stayed as a group, they farmed their Shadow Blaze on the Alchemist and on the Dragon Knight, and they turned the pickoffs into LGDint.
Yeah, it was like as from in terms of item choices. You did criticize them a bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I criticized it a lot.
Okay, so this is what I mean. I would have maybe liked to have seen Nature's Prophet to try and get a mech early, to be able to actually be in team fights and support the PA as well as like Wisp is like.
What was
really
his first item? Do you remember? The Nature's Prophet? Anyone?
It was boots into mech, or into Midas, back
Into
to
Ma-
Treads,
Yeah.
back to Shadowblade, and
Right, Shadowblade.
and
Yeah, he
then-
went
yeah.
Shadowblade. Yeah.
Also, with the Quap,
The Orchid was.
yeah, but it was okay, because it does really
if you
work.
could execute the
But
plan.
that could have been great if there was a mech in the team, or
Right.
But at the same time, even like an Ags, like just the HP pool it gives you, just the spammable kind of like ulti, and just the amount of damage it does. It's like if you get an Ags, you can carry a gem.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't die quickly. You've got a gem, and those Shadow Blades, and there was a lot of Shadow Blades, become a little bit less relevant, and your team fight potential is really good. And your PA, even with just the BKB, if you can get it on the right targets and your team's still alive, it doesn't matter which your target is. Once you get that one crit, you're good. And the golden time I love with playing PA, when you get that kind of 10-second BKB and you just chase, you can chase people down awesomely. Unfortunately, not a Leshrac in a jungle who's juking you with Diabolic Edict up. But yeah, I think item choices, but it's always like LGD. I always find them like pretty strong in the laning phase, and that normally has to go their way for them to come out on top.
Right.
It was a bit close, and they didn't. I don't know. They had like that, as you mentioned. It was weird because it's like, PA, you want to go late. These are these heroes you want to use mid game, but they had the items that didn't complement the team fights mid, and they just didn't handle Shadowblade. So I don't really have much more to say on the matter. Is anything you guys?
I think the Ag suggestion is actually very good. I think it would have let them survive a little bit more for the relocate ganks or relocate outs or the swaps. Both of them would have saved her.
you were saying they needed a ton of AoE damage.
Yeah,
and
they needed
that's
more
what
AoE. They didn't punish the Ghost Scepters at all. Usually Queen of Pain just blows up people if they have a Ghost Scepter, but we didn't see Queen of Pain do anything to the Ghost
She
Scepter.
killed CM at the end when the throne was.
Well,
yeah.
I also think the PA pick just really stands out to me as not very good, just because I think they really need to get off to a better early game start than they did and kind of snowball to victory. But PA really requires a sort of BKB level of farm plus either phase or treads. Meanwhile, Rattlesnake has Gyrocopter, Alchemist, and Dragon Knight. All three of them in farming roles. There was no support Alchemist, and regardless of how farmed the PA is, if you have that much farm on those three heroes, you're not going to be able to carry. Rapier or not, MKB or not, it doesn't really matter. So I think they could have gone better with a just more early game. Again, like Gyrocopter or Lifestealer, those two were Lifestealer was banned out and Gyrocopter was taken. So props to Rattlesnake for drafting well, and I think they could have done better with a little early game. Like Ursa would have owned.
Well,
Ursa Bear.
I don't know about that.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I want to raise a discussion point here in
Sure.
terms of Alchemist. I think it's one of the
It's very official.
yes
I'd like to raise a discussion.
the
point.
discussion point. So guys, listen to me. Alchemist probably one of the most picked heroes in the tournament. One with
Oh, by the way,
yes.
before you raise your discussion point,
I allow you to
you,
discuss.
Merlini, you asked if, or someone asked, you know, if you charge your stun and you stand next to an enemy and it hits you, does it stun them? I think you said no.
I said
No,
no.
yeah.
Chat have decided it's yes.
It is, yes. That's what K-pop
Yeah,
does.
K-pop toss is also popped up
Oh.
in the.
Okay.
in the-
I usually know my mechanics, but Alchemist, he's too imbalanced for me to play.
I'm the
I
one.
shy
I'm the one that's.
I
have
shy away
the-
from living armor.
Yeah.
The OP.
He's getting nerfed in a bit, but
The
I want
life
to
stealer.
I want to go back to Alchemist.
Discussion point.
Yeah, discussion point, right? Alchemist is one of the only carries that comes to my mind that has a different skill build, whether he's going offensive Trident or defensive Trident. If you're going defensive, you want to max Grivel's Grid, just try to protect the farm. If you're going offensive, you want to max out Unstable Concoction and Acid Spray because it gives you the killing potential, right? However, this changes drastically the way you actually play the hero because the more Grivel's Grid you want, the more farm you want, the earlier you can get the items. But in the other way, with Acid Spray and Unstable Concoction, you have a huge damage potentially, probably at level 8, 9, one of the highest in terms of spell damage that you can bring in a carry.
And also it opens up Roshan a little bit easier as
Yeah,
well. So.
as well. So, do you have any if you had to say, okay, this is how Alchemist is played, this is the best way to play Alchemist, disregarding the opponent's composition, like you can choose. What do you personally prefer in terms of how the hero is played?
Okay, I'm gonna raise my hand here.
Yeah,
and
you
go
can.
first.
We can go there.
Because I made a guide and then I made a video so I'm the official expert on this.
Yes.
But no, I personally need to have 1 point Grievous Creed because you gotta get the value. You know, you can't just
Gotta get that value.
get last hits and not get free gold for that. But I'm personally a big fan of
Getting value.
Getting value. I like taking Acid Spray, maxing it a little bit early because we definitely saw the utility in the game. Remember that big ancient stack?
Yes.
They weren't doing so well early game. You recovered by dumping a couple of Acid Spray on there, and you get some free gold. It's a good tower defense mechanism early. If you Asher support to stack the neutrals, that's a ton of free gold for it as well. I think you mix and match of stun and spray depending if you want to play passive or if you play offensive. But you ask for a vanilla build, so I'd say max spray by 7, take a point of Grievous Grease somewhere in between, and then go stuns.
Okay.
So that's
4-2-1. I can agree
Yeah.
with that. The max acid spray is just so good at dealing with a lot of situations: ancient stacking, actually fighting, defending against pushes, diving towers. It's just a really good skill, especially for the skill points. And 1 Grievous Greed I think is sufficient just because the cap is the same at all levels. So, I mean, you can skip it out if you want to. You just really need to secure your early game. I would say 4-2-1 or 4-3-0. Either one is fine.
value time, man. You can't.
They also had so many stuns to follow up that that the extra stun from Concoction, it didn't matter too much. As long as you have 1 or 2 levels early, it's perfectly okay to skip out on other levels. So, answer Bruno's question, ending discussion time, 4-2-1 for me.
All right then. So you happy with that, Bruno?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I was expecting an answer for you, like bring us a real deal. Like you brought us a blinking Venom answer.
I max stun.
You max stun.
Yeah, I want damage.
Yes.
And I definitely always get 1 point in Grievous Greed.
Gotta get that value.
Value.
And but I throw stun so much I don't have enough mana for acid spray, but it's fine.
It's fine.
All right then, guys. So we're going to be getting ready to go into game number 2 in just a moment. I do believe that both teams are in the lobby, but before we go to game number 2, we will be going to a quick break. So when we come back, the Alienware Cup will continue. Sponsored, as you know, by the lovely people Alienware, MasterCard, and brought to you by BTS. So see you in just a moment for game 2 between LGD International and Rattlesnake.